Welcome to Coffee With. We've got Sean, we've got Chris, and we've got again, as always, we have Mark from the Klingon Assault Group. And before we get into the actual show, those of you who are on the chat may recognize this face. May not. This is Skip Morris. We got hooked up with Skip at Neutral Zone Studios, a good friend with Dick Manana and some others. He's a great guy, and I just added him. He couldn't make it to tonight's show, but he will join us in the future. He's very knowledgeable about Big Strike. I thought it was a good idea to let everyone know. Skip's been in several films, so I know Mark may remember Skip.
Indeed.
I was chatting with him today. He just had some ablations in his heart last week. He's doing well, coping with life. So he and I chit-chatted about all the goodies inside the ticker box. Uh-oh, Chris is now tying himself in knots. I'm going to watch this. This is going to be fun.
I am sick and twisted.
I already know you're sick and twisted. That's why you're my friend.
That is true. Oh,
anyway, you ready for tomorrow?
We're ready.
Okay. Do you know if they will be providing us with a table?
Yes.
How much space do we have? Can we bring another?
Yes, we can bring you can bring another table.
You
And I have your computer, Drew.
have my computer?
Yeah, Mark sent you a computer for the 3D printer.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And it scared me there for a minute because I said you weren't at the house and it's in the other room, except that one. But then I've got the old beat up one that's about ready to die.
Yeah, well, it's a mini computer. It has no keyboard or monitor, but
I've got all those toys and then few. Sean, I've got extras laying around here. No, I only have two.
And for tomorrow,
homes for 4 of them.
As a matter of fact, our original TV that we use for the show is back at my house because there's so many over there.
I believe it. And Drew, tomorrow, you and your second in command will have vendor passes.
Good. They're going to be there.
And I saw, so Drew's been working on some pretty awesome little setups. He's got banners now for CAG and for Starfleet that are, those tall banners that all the professional vendors have at their booths. Well, yeah. Drew's got those now.
I've got 2 of the tabletop version. I'm waiting on 2 of the tall ones.
So we're adding a lot of stuff. One of the nice things is adding Humanities 101. Some of y'all got to meet with Dutch at Polycon, and it's opening doors for us, and we're opening doors for Humanities 101 because you think that what you do here, it stays within Florida's borders, and it doesn't. When we did BartoCon last year, one of those people was in Tampa, and they told Dutch at a paid event that he recognized our the non-speaking assistant tool that we have, he actually recognized it from our booth at BartoCon and told him about it. So what we do at each con to help out with Humanities 101 gets all the way back to Dutch, who is in Indiana, Ohio, one of those northern states. Yeah,
Now,
Indiana.
what you're looking at on the screen here is what I've got 2 of now. And as soon as they get here, I will have 2 that are 80 inches tall and 30 inches wide. Mark, you might want to look at that screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I do see the picture.
Yeah, that's the little goodie that I've got. It was fun getting it. It was fun setting them up. It was a pain in the backside to line everything up. All right. You'll bear with me.
so Drew.
That would be me.
Who's all coming from your ship?
At this point, it's just going to be myself and Mike. We've been a little stretched, to put it mildly.
That's understandable.
Unfortunately, I'm recovering from
He's had an extra rough week of
Yeah, but it's
13 radiation treatments, so I'm in super inflamed. And the tumor is angry. I made a joke about the comic books lied to me, saying that I'd become a superhero from the radiation. What it doesn't tell you is it's actually the hemorrhoids and the tumor that get angry, and they attack you instead of you attacking others.
Besides, it's gamma radiation.
It's gamma coming out of that MRI. And all the rest of the radiation too.
I have gotten permission. Soon we will have a very special flag over our tent. Give me a second, I'll pull it up. It's falling asleep.
Well, while he's looking for that,
Yeah, I know,
talking
right?
about other sci-fi stuff. Anybody remember Terra Nova?
Yep.
I picked up the full series for about $10.
You got to find. Guard it with your life.
Anyway, I figure this would be a fun flag to put over our tents.
Very nice.
But I'm going to change the wolf into Phoenix Rising, and on the other side, I'm going to put the South Florida sector logo for Region 2. We need to bring things to life, guys. Kind of a mix. Because if we wanted, we can bring, let's see, that one as well.
Nice.
I've got a version of this for my warriors here that I've turned into one of those tabletop banners. And in case you're wondering, yes, I will bring them tomorrow. I know John looks like that. Is he going to bring them tomorrow, even though we're not there? He is.
What's tomorrow?
We got a last-minute con invite. So we're going.
I'm sorry.
You're not the one last minute, are you, Chris?
No. Hold on, Chris. since you know about the con, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay.
Yes.
Tomorrow it starts at 10 to 4. It's called Largo Play Con. It is located in Largo, Florida, Pinellas County. It's going to be at the Largo Center for the Performing Arts. It's called Central Park Performing Arts Center in Largo. It's on the other side of the Chili's down there and the Clearwater St. Pete Airport. And Drew hopefully has the address, because it does not show me the address on the flyer map. Ooh, I like it.
Then,
Chips
of
of
course,
fly.
for my warrior friends,
Maj.
those are what the tabletop banners are.
And if you guys Google Largo Public Library, it'll take you right to the Performing Arts Center.
If I go where?
To the
Largo
Largo,
Public Library.
yeah, and right next door to right across the street from the Largo Public
But he said
Library.
Bartow. I was like, no, we're not going.
No, I'm not going. I'm not going back to Bartow.
Oh, hang on. Our youngest person is here. Hey, Vampire.
Oh, John.
Let's hold the queen.
And hello, John.
So what kind of fun things are going in your neck of the woods there, Vampire?
It's just a funeral tomorrow at the Pope on BBC News.
You know, you should have a con in a pub. I would swim to go to that one.
We've got
It'd
one
take me
coming
a
up.
while, but
We've got one coming up in one of the hotels in London. It's not too bad.
bring Mark with me, because I don't have to outswim the sharks. I just have to outswim Mark. Been a long time since I walked the streets of London. Almost 40 years. It's a bit of a beast, don't you think?
I think a lot of time in London was about
One of my mates said it's not the London I used to remember. I remember.
no, it's not.
I told him, as long as Kent's pretty much the same, I'm good.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew.
Sure.
What time you guys headed out tomorrow morning?
We're leaving here at 5:30.
Okay. I'll pick him up at 6:30.
I will send you a text as soon as we cross into Tampa.
Roger that, and we will gladly give you a hand unloading the car.
Because from then it's just a little swing. We only have 2 small totes, the table, a wagon, call it all of it, and 2 stools so that I have a place to sit. I can't stand cold.
I know.
In the message
they'll have-
group, I gave you the instructions to get to the Largo PlayCon.
I know where it is.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to remind you guys, don't forget the AER.
Well, it's all Starfleet, but I'll send an AER. I have no issue with that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're one big family. We might as well start sharing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I'll have Mike bring his Klingon uniform, and he can just switch to that real quick, get a couple of pictures, and we're done.
Yeah.
We can have him shooting a bad guy right behind Chris. Not you, Chris, the guy behind you.
okay.
On my screen, that's Mark.
Of course, if JR is there, we'll have two Klingons.
Well, considering where it's at, did you talk to the what was that? Did you talk to Josiah on the?
No, I haven't. I just literally, we found out a couple of days ago, we've been crashing to put everything together.
Drew,
It was hinted at by Mark. And I'm like, it's all cool. If you really need us, let us know. Chris got a hold of me. We really need you. Okay. So
yeah, because it was just going to be me and Mike doing this thing with Mark up in Largo and Jess down at with Mark going up north and Jess going down to do St. Pete Ren Fair.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
have an
even,
issue with it. I just wanted to make sure we had the opportunity to show at least more than one person.
yeah, because it's going to be me and Mike from the Victorious. You and
Other
Mike.
than that Sovereign class vessel, what do you guys have as displays?
We got an Enterprise. I don't know what the ship is, but Mike was thinking of bringing the Enterprise for our ship.
The model, the starship,
Yeah,
is a Sovereign class starship. I know because there's one right there.
yeah.
With the same.
There's also, I can see the Deep Space Nine behind you that has the Victorious, the Andromeda.
The Andromeda and the camp are all on Deep Space Nine. We're all anchored up there.
And Drew, next year, I will like to, when I talk to Mark when he gets back into town, I would like to plan this a little better between you guys and us. So you're not running around at the last minute.
Can't be any better, really. We try. We're busy. It's no big hairy deal. I mean, we know how to get a hold of each other.
Yeah, and I've been keeping you in the loop with everything that Mark's been coordinating.
What we need to do is, since you do the volunteer end, I know you do, you're the main body volunteer.
Yeah.
When you get the email, forward it to me.
Yeah, the email
I
goes
will
to
send
Mark.
you my email address, and when you get any email from Mark saying, okay, we're going to do this on this day, send it to me right away.
Okay.
And then if Mark needs me, he could just send me a thumbs up and we're good. We'll be ready. It comes under the job of sector chief as well. So I voluntarily took the job. So I might as well. I will bring you some original series Klingon phasers and a couple of the daggers from the Terran universe.
Works for me.
That way you guys have something a little more than what you got.
And Jordan,
Yo,
that's the phaser that he wants to mold off of.
Yep. You need to make a mold of that. It's a Discovery phaser.
Yeah.
And when you look it up on Temu or wherever, it doesn't come up under Star Trek. It comes up under sci-fi.
Yeah, they're not allowed to say Star Trek.
Cosplay prop.
Is it a 3D print?
The
No,
resin.
it's a cast resin piece.
I know
This
I'm
one's resin.
looking
And I-
at it and seeing a lot of undercuts. So if we could parse out the pieces, it would make for a easier mold.
It's a one piece.
That's what I was afraid of.
yeah.
Well, there's always, if Drew has one, 3D scan it and make it.
Okay, that's your job.
If I had the camera that can do the 3D scan, and I would,
Yeah,
but
see, that's our problem.
they're almost $1,000.
Hmm.
Actually,
that's
actually, they're not anymore.
if your cell phone is equipped with that rattle off, or if there's an app, I think it's like $10 a month. You can do it. The software to go with it is like $80 a month. It's good stuff. I mean, if you've got the money, I'd say go for it. I, on the other hand, do not have that kind of money.
Yeah, same here.
So, Mark, what's
I
going
keep
on with
seeing
you? What were you saying, John?
Well, I've been seeing the prop makers for Klingon prompts doing more and more metals.
Yes.
Hmm.
And not necessarily just the ones we've got already.
Oh, I've seen about a dozen we have not even tried to do.
Right.
I'm thinking, ooh, should I get that?
Yeah, well, that's why I was trying to
I
send you
don't
that
know what
one.
I would do with it. Looks like Thursday is going to be the best day for Mike and I to go to your place. So,
Okay, hang on a second. Trudy, when's your psychiatrist visit? Okay, Thursday is right out for us.
it's what?
Well,
It's a no go. Thursday's no go. Trudy's just got a psychiatrist appointment on Thursday.
Okay, then we'll change it to Wednesday if that works.
No, Wednesday doesn't work. It's
Friday?
next week is Monday or Friday.
Okay, then we'll do Friday.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm going to be in original series uniform tomorrow, Chris.
Works for me.
So, Mark, tell us
It
about.
depends on what series, what race he's doing.
I'm doing the human captain
Oh,
of the
bummer.
USS
You're
Kennedy.
not doing Klingon.
I already told you that.
I know, but
Just gotta get that.
trying to change your
Chris.
mind.
He's
All right,
needling you.
I'll take
Needling
it.
you.
Look at Sean's like, oh my God, these two, we're not that bad, brother,
I
really.
think he
Yeah,
was
we are.
trying to get you to talk, Mark.
I think so.
Yeah, tell me about Spooky.
Well, we'll have at least 2 tables, and we're pretty much set for it.
You have not texted me the dates, the address, or even a website link. Text.
Okay.
That is
Basically,
all I need.
you saw when the times are. I can give it to you.
No, see, you keep reading them to me.
Okay.
Give me a website link. That's all I need.
Do you have
what show is this?
Do you have Google?
Yes, I have Google.
Mark,
Good.
you got it up on your screen, right? Highlight the address and copy it. Right click.
Well,
Then you can put it in the show thing.
In the show stat.
okay, I'll text you. Don't worry. It's basically it's from the 20th to the 22nd at the DoubleTree at SeaWorld. That's in June.
Okay.
Now, is this a DoubleTree that's different from?
Yeah,
the-
it's
No. Is this a DoubleTree that is different from the DoubleTree at Universal?
the DoubleTree at SeaWorld.
Right.
The one at SeaWorld is right on property.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
You can go out the back and get onto SeaWorld's.
Yes.
Go right into SeaWorld's parking lot.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
you can actually just access it right there from iDrive, so it's not a problem.
Right.
I'm saying
And-
you don't have to drive to it. You can actually get onto SeaWorld's property without leaving the hotel.
Mhm.
The reason why I know is I actually did a leadership convention for church at that
And there-
particular one.
There you go. It's a nice little hotel.
I do have one more question for John. Did you get those pictures I sent you through Facebook?
I have adapted them. I've adapted the big one for doing the cutting.
We removed the banner with the border and everything else.
Yeah, I put the border on it.
Well, you needed to put your border on it. We took theirs off.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure you saw that I sent them.
Yep, I got him.
Drew and the rest of the guys, I just sent you a link in private chat, and I sent you to your Facebook. It's from Adam Savage from Mythbusters Tested, and it's the
Drew.
episode he did with the
Tricorder.
heavy, yeah, the new tricorder. Well, not
Yes.
not the
Yeah.
tricorder, but whatever that was called that you could look and see. But this one is accurate to the point where it can do your voice. It's got
Mhm.
the captain's private logs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The discs
and all
actually
that.
work.
Yeah.
For
Did
me,
you
you're
also
really
see
letting me know it's short. I've already gotten it a dozen times.
Did you also see the TR-107?
I don't
Yeah.
even know what that is, Mark.
I did.
That is a real world tricorder. Adam was gifted it by a fan.
Oh yeah, I did see that one.
Yes, one of the scientists that worked on the project. Send it to him.
Hmm.
They have. Is this something from the? What am I thinking of? The X Prize challenge that they finally developed a working tricorder for.
Well, this was many years ago.
I believe so.
Yeah.
This one was back in the 90s when it was
Yeah.
built.
Exactly. The one company, the one he's talking about, the TOS tricorder with all the functions,
Yeah.
that's the one that the one company finally came out with. And with the tariff thing going on, the one company switched over to everybody that had pre-orders to
Yeah.
the UK, John's neighborhood. So it will be a hell of a lot easier for people to get them now.
Yeah.
Like I
Wish we
said,
could dump
Wonderland at its finest.
I'm just saying, didn't we have a tricorder? Or was it called a Nokia phone?
That was
No, they
It
came
was-
up with an X.
Oh, that was the communicator. Never mind. Sorry, I'm
yeah,
on.
it was a comm.
There
it
was
was-
a X Prize challenge to
Yeah.
develop a Bones-like tricorder that actually did medical tests.
Really? That's cool.
Yes. So I didn't know if they'd actually got a company to make one or not.
Well, nowadays
I
with your
don't know if
smartphone,
they
they have
use
a
the
cardio app,
company
so
to-
no problem. It can do an electrocardiogram on you.
I have
do
a
know-
watch that does my blood pressure and heart rate.
And there you go.
I don't know if they've made a commercially viable unit, but I do know they had one functioning enough to do an arterial scan.
And spending so much time in treatment facilities, the pumps at the cancer center actually transmit the information to the computer for the people, so they don't even have to put the information in manually.
This is the guy that right now is so irradiated he can walk in the hospital and they not only know he's there, they know everything about it.
Yep, pretty much.
Hey,
So he's got a definite echolocation.
I do have a question. Has everybody here heard about the Enterprise Project?
Yes.
No.
You have
the project to build the Enterprise.
For real.
Build a starship.
For real.
For real.
And no, it's not Elon Musk. It's not Bezos. It's none of those freaky people.
It's literally a grassroots.
It's roots.
They also want to build a museum academy to push the higher, more advanced sciences.
Now, I did hear about a project to build an enterprise that could go between the planets 20 some years ago. And I didn't know if they took it any further.
And here you go.
There you go.
That's the website.
I am a member of the project.
They actually
I'm on their Facebook page too.
Yeah,
they
I'm getting
actually
the
came
page.
up with a method of making artificial gravity for the ship.
Well, this is why they want to start with a academy that focused on the higher levels of science.
Well, they kind of worked it out as just have the ring spin.
Well, that's true, but there also has a few other things going on with that one.
Of course, at the time I heard about it, they still hadn't come up with the Higgs boson particle yet.
Right.
Yeah, there are some issues with it as far as the cost up, but they want to do a Federation town. They want to progress an academy where they can actually start learning sciences, build a visitor center that explains the concepts, the principles, and the reasoning behind Get a Clue and Do Something. And there are multiple chapters, of course, members.
And I'm just going to say this. Being a NASA fan all my life, Elon Musk has doubled the amount of blown up rockets that NASA had from the beginning to the end of the space program, the shuttle program.
Well, Elon Musk's philosophy on launching rockets is the same as NASA had when they were launching the V2 rockets,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is let it blow up and we'll learn something from it.
Yeah, that's not a way to do it.
But no, that is a way to do it.
But the problem with that is we've already learned these mistakes, dumbass. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Much love to you, brother. Yeah. Okay.
We learned this from Russia when they blew up and killed all their scientists.
Oh, you mean the little N1 thing that went up that the seismographs in California went right off the scale? Yeah,
The reason why we beat them.
yeah, because the people were not allowed to say no, and you had
Mark, are you a
project
member of
manager.
the Enterprise Project?
Not at the present time, but I'm considering it.
You want the website?
Oh, I know the website.
Okay.
I'm considering it.
So I've got the link on Speed Shop. I can send it to you.
Hmm.
Well, go ahead and send it to me,
A little
Drew.
over a year.
Yeah, you can send it to me if you want. Go
I
for it.
already sent it to you, John.
It's in the group chat.
Hmm.
And Chris, I sent it to you as well.
Yeah, I got it.
That darn rat Drew.
So yeah, as far as the radiation goes,
Hmm.
after 3 days, I was already feeling the inflammation. The doctor said that's not supposed to happen to week 4.
Surprise.
Yeah. So today I walked in, and the desk girl goes, "You're not as up and bubbly as you normally are." I'm like, I'm in a little bit of pain. I was
Well,
spiking between 8 and 10 on the pain scale.
you should have told them that they needed to up the dose of radiation so that your blood would start to boil more and you'd be bubbly.
Or you could just say, I want that one to hold me until I feel better.
Hey, I'm being good.
The only
However,
time
I do have to say that it is nice that there's the American Cancer Foundation and the Advent Health Cancer Center actually work together to help offset the cost of getting to treatment. And they did help me out. So I definitely want to say if anybody's donating to things and want to know that it actually gets back to the people, the American Cancer Foundation definitely helps the people that are in treatment.
Well, the foundation versus the society is well known to go out over and above.
Yeah.
They're not the ones that say, look, they donated $5. This $4.99 is ours. Oh, here, we'll give this penny to the scientists.
Yeah.
hmm
I just wanted to point that out that they are helping. As a matter of fact, with all the negative public publicity from about Walmart lately because of things in politics, they also helped me out this month. So there are positive stuff with every negative article. Don't believe everything that's published in a headline. Read the rest of the article. And so I'm kind of glad that I work at Walmart, even though it's a hard job. They have made it so that I can make it through this treatment. So.
Oh, I just want you to know, I was in Walmart day before yesterday. There's a little teeny Puerto Rican lady that normally watches the door.
Yeah.
Older lady. She ran up and gave me a hug. The reason for doing this is because I know you. She said, you tell Sean that's for him, and he needs to beat this thing and get back it. Or I'm going to come beat him. I said, be careful. You might like that.
Yeah, when I was at the door and met Drew, she was the person that was the oldest person at the door, or longest associate at the door.
Yeah.
And we worked for a full year together. So my brain isn't giving me a name right now, but I do know who you're talking about.
You know, it starts with an N. I know that.
Yeah.
Now, I do remember, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but the American Cancer Foundation, one of those years, gave out close to $1 million more than they took in donations. I remember reading that in my own research because I don't trust anybody's bladder.
Yeah. So while it is expensive, and I can tell you, one of my hospital days was almost $200,000.
Wow.
So, yeah,
We don't get the health care coverage that you get over in England, John.
No, and I get that. Yeah.
I'm just
But,
glad I'm on Medicare.
There's pluses and minuses to both sides, actually.
yes, but England has the universal health care, but you can also get private coverage for the specialty stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you can pay for it because you for boop, I think called Bupa.
Yeah, and that's the equivalent to what we get. The specialty thing is the equivalent to what we pay extra for.
You pay extra, you get in better hospitals quicker.
Yeah.
It's the same as in Canada.
Yeah.
When I lived in Washington, I used to run up and give a couple of friends runs to the hospital. So I know about 80% of their medical coverage rules.
And the real cool thing about only one, well, I've got 3 doctors that aren't Advent Health. Cool thing about most of them being in the same structure, I don't have to worry about filling out extra paperwork.
Odd. I got to fill out new paperwork for every doctor I go to, even if they're in the same Advent or whatever.
Most of the doctors I met at the hospital.
I thought it was funny. I left the hospital with my heart. When I'm in the hospital, they changed me to like 5 different doctors. When I left the hospital, I was out for 3 days, and in the mail, I got an email I got from the 5 doctors because they needed me to fill out all the paperwork.
I do have to say, though, that in my case, it is a matter of a different paperwork for a different specialty of doctor.
Yeah.
I do that too.
The kidney doctor is an Advent Health, and it was probably the smallest amount of paperwork that I've ever filled out. It was like 3 pages. I was like, wait a minute here. I went to the cancer center, and it was 17 pages.
And I keep asking them, didn't we go to a paperless society?
No.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
Sure we did.
It's paperwork is like toilet paper. The job's not finished until you do the paperwork.
There is a point where you can say the paperwork sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, well.
And this is from a guy
that's
who
when you're
used
done
to
with
do
the
tons of
paperwork on
paperwork.
the toilet.
I have this weird stuff on my hands. It looks a lot better now, but it used to be big and crusty.
Mm-hmm.
So my PCP is sending me to a dermatologist who I had seen. But they just sent me yesterday, they sent me an email with 53 pieces of paper I had to fill out.
God.
And I'm like, I've been there already.
You know, and we were going to have medical information on chips that were going to be implanted in our skin that the doctor's offices could read instead of having us do paperwork every time we change doctors.
You know, technically, they don't even have to do that. They could give us a card that you can just go tink and it's done.
Yeah.
At this point, the person that's got that patent, I don't trust with anything electronic. It's called Elon Musk.
No, I the problem is, how many different readers have we gone through in the last 10 years changing the system on our computers?
Yeah.
And this was going to be 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Long time.
Well, in the last 3 years, Microsoft's gone through 4 different readers.
Can't they just stick to one?
Adobe has rebuilt their
Where's the fun in that?
No, where's the money in that?
Yeah.
I just saw today that Windows has come out with Windows 12 beta.
No, thank you.
For everyone to test and complain about.
Right.
By the organization that gave us Windows Vista.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. And you know, when you release a piece of software, an operating system, and then 5 days later, the owner of the company that released it says, "Oh shit, I am so sorry."
Yeah.
That's when it's time to say, okay, stop doing that.
It went DOS GUI, which was little boxes that you used your arrows to navigate. Then it was Windows 3. No, they had
They're
Windows
still
all the way up.
They're still doing DOS.
They had Windows 2.
Yeah. Windows
4,
3.1. No, Windows 3.1, and then it went to 95.
95. 95 went to 98. 98 went to
ME.
Don't forget the Windows NT for networking.
That's the only one that I haven't. Windows NT is the only one I haven't supported.
Why not forget about Windows NT?
It works.
Windows ME and Windows Vista both got apologies within 30 days of their release.
The only thing I hate now about Windows is you can't go in to the system files and change stuff like you could with
Yes, you can.
Windows 7.
Keep thinking that. Look at Sean and I. Both, oh, yeah, you can.
I am not telling that secret.
I killed a teacher's computer when I was in school that was running Windows 7 by taking out a few commands in the system files.
I'm not going to say I'm old, but when Windows ME came out and they said that they had a locked core to the operating system and they locked this and you couldn't, I went in there and changed all kinds of stuff.
I don't want to say
I'm not telling you.
I don't want to say I'm old, Drew, but I started out with a piece of paper and a pencil.
I think everybody did.
Hold on.
And as long as you had a good sharpener, you were good.
In my elementary school, we played on the original Apple. And the original Apple did not have a floppy drive.
Did it have a
It had a tape drive. You would put the tape in the
You got
player.
a tape drive? I had to use cards.
Cards, John,
that brings me memories of the Army personnel system back in when I was in. It's called SIDPERS. This damn thing would throw tantrums if you caught it in a mistake. I can only imagine the programmer that he probably got committed to, the funny farm that came up with that thing. That's
The little system Mark's referring to, it was like you had 500 soldiers and you got 285 pounds of cards.
yeah. Everybody had lots of blank IBM cards to make notes on.
Really
I remember those.
everywhere.
Hey, who remembers the Trash 80?
Well,
TRS 80. Yep.
I had a
Radio Shack, yay!
Handy 1000. The
Yep.
Commodore 64.
yeah, I had one of those.
I had
And then
one
there
of
was
those
the
too.
Commodore 120.
And there are people still running those
128.
things.
Hold on,
128, yeah.
don't forget the one Shatner was promoting, the Vic 20.
That was a Commodore too.
John,
Yeah.
John, didn't you have over in the UK there? You had the Sinclair. It was supposed to be the future.
Yeah, Sinclair.
That lasted about what,
About 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 2 years. Yeah.
That's the same guy that came out with the Marvel of Transportation.
And a small TV.
Oh yeah.
How many people were told, programming wise, you're never going to need more than 128K for memory?
Oh, yeah.
You had to wonder what these people were smoking.
Who remembers the old dial-up modem where you had to take the receiver off the cradle and drop it on?
I remember the bag phones for the cars.
I had
about-
one.
Okay, I got one for you. Wang machines.
Yeah, that's what.
You could type an
W-A-N-G.
answer. You could type a question in, and it was kind of like the Douglas Adams universe. You would eventually get an answer. Right or
Oh,
wrong,
is that
you were
where
going to get
42
an
came
answer.
from?
Yeah, no kidding. They should have handed out free thumb rings for those.
But remember, Douglas Adams wrote a 6-book trilogy on that system.
Yep.
Well, my
Um,
first gaming system was an Atari.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could go back to the beginning. How about Pong?
Yeah.
That was my first one of my first games I ever played.
There you go.
So before the internet, you would call other people's houses, and they had bulletin boards that you could connect to on their computers.
No, you didn't. You had phones.
Mhm.
When you were calling other people's houses, you talked to them on the phone.
No, you would call it with the computer. Right before the internet, they were bulletin board systems. One of the most popular was Renegade BBS. And you would play a game called Lord, Legend of the Red Dragon, which was a text-based game.
Good Lord.
And was tons of fun.
Hold on. We still use BBS systems in ham radio.
Yeah, but do you still use BBS systems on Signal?
No.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's how
Back in
this.
the is this the Mesozoic or the Paleozoic era?
I think this was a let's share secrets with our adversaries. Where?
Better yet, radio group club I used to belong to, we were still running a packet system on one of the first portable laptops that had a screen that was no bigger than a small digital room clock, that sat on your desk.
And what are we using now?
I know.
Our phones are like this big.
Yeah, but the screen was green. It was one
He's
of those
talking about the one that
green.
looked like a Singer sewing machine. You
Yeah.
opened it up, it had the two 6-inch drives, and it lit a screen.
And it weighs 75 pounds.
And the only reason why it was created is because the military wanted a computer that was portable. They figured one trip could carry this at least a half a month.
Yeah, these are the same people that came up with it.
Amstrad.
I remember that.
Vampire said Amstrad was what they had over there.
Amstrad.
I just got to say something about Signal. When they tell you not to use it a month before you leak the information, you just need to get smacked.
Well,
Yeah,
no. He used it again.
I know. He
yeah.
gave his brother-in-law information and his wife.
Yeah.
You guys want a good laugh? All of Pasco County government, from the emergency management on over, they use Signal. They claim it's secure. That's how they pass information around to each other.
Yeah, but is their information uber sensitive?
No.
No.
So
Yeah.
it may be secure enough for them.
That's true.
And this is why they don't have external screen doors on submarines.
Did you guys hear about the new state police car in Florida?
No.
It's a C8 Chevy Corvette.
Okay.
70th anniversary edition.
You want to get a really good laugh?
It's an interceptor. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They always do a high-powered interceptor.
What was that, Drew?
A real good laugh. You go to Fort MacArthur, which technically is closed, but it's not. You can ask, why is there a dock out there big enough to handle a batch?
What's a batch?
A
Battleship.
Oh, okay.
And the only reason why is because, and Mark probably remembers this, there was a time when the United States Army used to be part of the crews to destroyers. It's like, okay, we need gunners that can handle howitzers. So, hey, the Army does that a lot. But yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to sign off here tonight, guys. So we'll catch everybody later.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care, John.
Have fun.
Go down to the bottom where it says leave studio if you're headed out.
Ah, there it is.
And he was.
I don't have that option. Mine says end.
Well, mine says end, but that's the difference.
Let me in.
Yeah, we've had some pretty interesting pieces of software in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Dragon Wars. You remember that one, Mark? With the little knife, Dragon Wars. The little knife like this, and you saw this map move. He didn't, and all of a sudden we going.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
That was on Windows 3.1.
No, it started on DOS. I remember DOS.
See, I remember the DOS UI. You could put a password on something, but if you drop to the non-UI section, go to the directory, you could open the file even though there was a password put on it.
Yes. I remember, for me, the funnest thing about Windows was when I was working at Carlson Testing, everybody used to complain because of computers, computer forms, and everything else. I had a compact light. How it got that name, I will never figure out. It was an 11.5-inch screen. This freaking computer weighed about 20 pounds. Until the earthquake hit in Seattle and went screaming down the West Coast all the way to Salem, Oregon. I'm in Portland on top of a building that Pentium is building for a lab. And my buddy's down at that end with his brand new
Lunchbox.
computer, his brand new computer, and he's like, throws it, drops down, and hugs the 12-inch beam. So I'm like, well, I turned just in time to see the Columbia River come up like that. Okay, so this is a wave. I threw my computer down and hang on. I go down his computer. When we get down, his computer's in like 20 pieces all over the place. Mine has a crack in the case. Not a break, a crack. And it's still fully functional. Although it took me 10 minutes to find my little ball mouse.
Mm.
You mean that little dot in the middle of the compact?
No, there was a little ball that sat over to the side with 2 buttons that you could clip on.
Oh,
And I had to find that. But other than that, it worked perfectly. And everybody was like, I don't know why you love that computer. Right? My buddy's like, $1,150.
Oops.
I said, well, I don't know, but this right here is well spent $840.
Well,
Yeah.
let's go back to the first laptops that had a light scribe burner in them.
And then you could do all kinds of fun things on that. Everyone said, you can't do. What?
so is Mike staying over at your house?
Nope.
Good luck.
He says he can pick me up at 5:30.
Well,
The last one we did this early, he got here at 5:40.
Nice.
But he's doing much better about getting there early.
Yeah.
well,
You know, they were here this evening, but then they had to leave early.
Took off at 4.
Grocery shopping. Yeah. If you're
have
grocery
a great time at the show, guys.
Huh?
Have a great time at the show. May as well. You're going to be there.
We're gonna miss you.
Yep.
Yep.
And no, Drew, no going over and playing the old school arcade Pac-Man or tabletop Pac-Man they're going to have there.
Oh,
no.
God. Here we go.
That was not my game.
They'll even have Pong there.
The game I had that I played so often and so long
Space Invaders.
was Enterprise. Remember that one, Mark?
Yeah.
Little
Great
clouds, and you had a starship that was just aligned.
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, rank that right up there with their
You gotta
asteroids.
figure out where the Klingons are and shoot them.
On one of the 2 emulator systems I have, I think that game is on it.
I'll tell you, it actually did have a easy, a medium, and a hard play. But you could only determine that on installation. And when I first got the game, I thought, oh, this is going to be easy, so I'm going to play the hardest game. It ain't easy. Then I had Armada, Star Trek Armada.
Mhm.
That was a fun Armada 2.
Yes, that was.
I can't remember the name of the game that you used to be able to play. You could fly into Starbase.
Don't remember.
You could take
Wait.
on the board. You could take on anybody.
That's called Star Trek Online.
No, this is before Star Trek Online. All right, we've been at this an hour. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream.
Live long and prosper.
You
And
need
if you
to-
got weird pain, get checked.
You
Yep,
need
it's checked.
you need to get to bed, boss. Unless you don't believe in sleep.